Welcome everyone. Thank you for choosing Night Sky.
Hello everyone. Greetings of peace to all of you. A very warm welcome from the Brahma Kumaris of Rosebell. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's a very, very special session. It's an interactive discussion. On the 16th of October every year, the United Nations, along with all state members, celebrate the World Food Day. And we are all much, much concerned about our health. We all want to live a healthy, wealthy, and peaceful life. And health is the key to peace. Health is the key to progress. Health is the key to prosperity. If we lose our health, we lose out everything in our life. So let us celebrate it today. We all need food to live. But what kind of food do we need? And how much do we need? And what is the best way to consume food so that it turns into health and energy for us? So our topic tonight is an integrative approach to combat diabetes. We all aware of the huge problem of diabetes in our country, the huge number of people affected by that chronic disease. And a lot is being invested by government and NGOs to help people come out from that. And yet we still find ourselves in face of that enemy. So today it will be an opportunity for all of us to know more about that disease and the right approach to address it. So before we go into the discussion, I invite Sister Rupa, the coordinator of the Brahma Kumari Center in Rosebell, to address a few words of blessing to open this session. Sister Rupa.
Om Shanti. Good evening, and a very, very hearty welcome to our session today. Especially a very special welcome to our brother Harish Sitiji. After quite long, we are seeing you back again. So it is a pleasure, and we are really thankful to all the Rotary Club and all the members, all those who are present today for this session, giving us this inspiration to organize this meeting. It's really a very interesting topic, and which concerns everyone, because health is one of our main subject in our life now, where there is good health, of course, we'll be wealthy, because we can earn well, and that brings happiness. So health, wealth, and happiness always work, come together. And everybody wants to be happy in our life. And for that, how to maintain our life, our health, mainly our diet, our way of life, how to control our emotions, because mostly it's not only the way of eating or the diet that causes diabetes. There are a lot of other causes, especially stressful life, which has an effect on our emotions, on our different organs of the body, the enzymes, the secretions that come, the effect that it has on our different systems of the body. So we know that health is one main issue that brings happiness in our life. So everybody wants happiness. Now God is the ocean of happiness, our eternal supreme Father. And through meditation, through spirituality, how we can control our mind. The one who is the master of the mind now can be one who can control our emotions and choose the type of emotions that will bring happiness, that will bring good health and good in all the aspects. Our physical health, our mental health, the social health, and spiritual health. So spirituality plays a big role, and spirituality means we connect with our own inner self, the inner self connected with the supreme soul, the supreme self, and that brings power to be able to control our mind and bring that happiness in our daily life. So meditation, a daily practice that brings a lot of benefit to the soul in every aspect. And so we, at our Raja Yoga Meditation Center, we always advise that meditation is a must for everyone. And it is something so simple, can learn it very easily and practice it for our benefit in every way to maintain our peace and happiness in our daily life. So best of luck, and hope we'll enjoy a good time, in the session today. So Om Shanti.
Thank you, Sister Rupa, for these few words. So tonight's event is a joint between the Brahma Kumaris of Rosebell and the Rotary Club of Rosebell. And by the end of the session, we will also have a representative from the Rotary Club to join us. He's having some technical issue for joining, so we'll try. It will be, I'm sure, a very interesting, interactive session because we have 3 speakers today. Dr. Rajesh Jiwan from the University of Mauritius. He is responsible of the Health and Medicine Department at the University of Mauritius. We also have, as Sister has welcomed our brother from Mumbai, India, Dr. Harish Shetty, and also Professor Ish Sharma, equally from India, but currently based in Mauritius as the representative of Ayush at the University of Mauritius. So it will be quite interesting, and I'm sure we're going to learn a lot and be inspired by our 3 speakers. I now hand over to Dr. Rajesh Jiwan, who is going to coordinate the interaction among our speakers. Over to you, Brother Rajesh.
Om Shanti, Sister, and good evening, everybody. It's good to see a lot of audience today. Today will be interesting and we'll be talking a little bit about diabetes. The reason why it is important is because diabetes is becoming more or less like a global epidemic these days. Even in Mauritius, what we've seen, the prevalence of diabetes is rising. For such a small population that we have in Mauritius, you will be surprised to see how many people suffer from diabetes. It might be possible that in India as well, possibly Dr. Harish Shetty can give us some statistics about, what's happening in India when it comes to diabetes. But we share similar genes as well, so I'm pretty sure if we have a lot of people suffering from diabetes in Mauritius, so the risk of getting diabetes among the Indian population must be quite high as well. So it's indeed a great pleasure to have you among us, Dr. Harish Shetty. I know that you have been the founder of Ayurveda and a restaurateur in Mumbai, India, and you've worked on many consultation programs, especially on how food is important to maintain a balanced way of life. So we are looking forward to your talk today and your discussion, and share your feedback and your valuable experience you have with people from Mauritius. I do understand that we do have audience from India as well. And at the same time, we do have Dr. Ish Sharma. Dr. Ish Sharma is a well-known figure now in Mauritius. He has been participating in many programs at the national level and is currently a professor in the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences at the University of Mauritius, and he has been giving talks before as well. So welcome, Dr. Ish Sharma. So allow me maybe...
Brother Rajesh, I'm really sorry to interrupt you. I find Monsieur Rao Saib. I find Monsieur Rao Saib was joined us. He's from the Rotary Club. We'll just give him 2 minutes to just say a few words, because it's a joint event today. So just 2 minutes to invite Brother Saib to just say a few words on behalf of the Rotary Club of Rosebell.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Sister Rekha. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you very much, Sister. Well, on behalf of the President and members of the Rotary Club of Rosebell, I have the honor and pleasure to welcome you all to this panel discussion on a very important subject, diabetes. Today's function is being organized jointly by the Brahma Kumari and the Rotary Club of Rosebell. We look forward with great pleasure to hear from the free health professionals on a health subject which is increasing both in the elderly population and the young population on a daily basis in Mauritius. Well, the floor is for you, Dr. Rajesh Jiwan, Professor Ish Sharma, and Dr. Harish Shetty. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Saib, for this intervention, and thank you for working together with us. So thank you to Rotary Club.
Okay.
Over to you. Thank you. Over to you, Rajesh Bhai.
Yes, sure. I've just put the screen in here. I wonder whether everybody can see my screen.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Good evening. What we're going to talk today is about what is diabetes and what are the symptoms. What are the reasons as to why we get diabetes? And Professor Ish Sharma and Dr. Shetty will go into detail about the herbal remedies and food that can fight diabetes. And at last, we'll try to discuss a little bit about how we can try to modify our lifestyle to control diabetes. So what is diabetes? Diabetes is basically a chronic disease. What do I mean by chronic? I mean that it has got long-lasting conditions. So basically, diabetes is a disease that can stay with us with persistent effects for quite a long time. And what basically happens whenever we have diabetes is that our blood sugar level becomes too high. And the pancreas, which is basically an organ just below our stomach, is no longer able to make enough insulin. So there is some sort of insulin resistance, and the amount of glucose molecules in our blood stays in the blood and is not being able to be picked up by the cells that need them for energy. Now, talking about diabetes, we've got different types of diabetes. We've got type 1 diabetes that usually occur at a very young age. We've got type 2 diabetes, and we're going to discuss mostly about type 2 diabetes because this is what is mostly common, especially among middle-aged people, and this is what is affecting a large proportion of the population these days. And then we do have gestational diabetes as well, which mainly occur during pregnancy. So some of the symptoms, as you can see over here, whenever you have diabetes, you are always hungry. Why you're always hungry? Because, you know, your cells are not being able to pick the glucose molecules from your blood to utilize them. And then you can be having unexpected weight loss, tingling, you know, hands and feet, numbness, frequent urination, sexual disorder, extreme fatigue, and always thirsty. And there could be a lot of complications as well. For example, we've seen it among a lot of diabetic people, you know, they've got a lot of problems when it comes to wound healing. There is a peripheral neuropathy as well. Basically, you know, your nerves outside of your brain and your spinal cord are being damaged. You could be having cerebrovascular disease as well, which means that, you know, the blood vessels in your brain are being affected. You could be having diabetic neuropathy, coronary heart disease as well, and problems with your eye. Now, why do we get diabetes? I mentioned before, it's about insulin. One of the main reasons is because, you know, a deficiency in insulin leaves too much sugar in your blood, and this can have consequences on your other organs as well. Could be family history. Genetics plays an important role in here. Usually it runs in the family. If you've got, you know, forefathers, if you've got parents who had diabetes, so the risk of you having diabetes is slightly higher. Pregnancy as well. During pregnancy, sometimes there could be hormonal disbalance, especially those hormones that are developed in the placenta. They do interfere with the body's insulin resistance. Age is the major factor as well. Usually the risk of getting diabetes increases as you age, usually after 40, 45. But with our young generation now, and with our, you know, the type that we are living our life nowadays, it's even occurring at an earlier age. Even at 30, we have a lot of people suffering from diabetes nowadays. Obesity is a major factor as well, because, you know, usually with excess body fat, it can lead to insulin resistance. Poor diet as well. A diet high in calories, fat, and cholesterol also increases your body's resistance to insulin and could lead to diabetes as well. A lack of exercise, because the more we exercise, you know, it's beneficial for our body because our muscles are taking up all those glucose molecules to be utilized, and therefore we don't have so much of glucose molecules being left in the blood. And there could be other hormonal changes as well. So this is from me a little brief about, the major basic concepts behind diabetes. And now we'll go ahead and start talking a little bit about herbal remedies and food that can fight diabetes. Before we proceed, I would be very grateful if maybe Dr. Ish Sharma can tell us a little bit more about diabetes, especially when it comes to the herbal remedies and how these can be very beneficial. Yes, Professor Sharma?
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Jivan, and thank you very much, the Rotary Club and Brahma Kumari Association for this opportunity. So really a very right association and a lot to learn. I believe we have got Dr. Shetty, Dr. Jivan, and did Ayurveda know about diabetes or not? Ayurveda did very well know about diabetes, and very interestingly, it is the only disease. Ayurveda has mentioned more than 500 medical conditions, including cancers and infections and diabetes, tuberculosis and gout, different types of arthritis, everything. This is only disease where Ayurveda says this does not come to go back. Pramehu Anushangi Nam is one Sanskrit phrase which says diabetes is very loyal. If it comes to you, it will be with you throughout your life. That is, it is very, very difficult or impossible to get rid of it. So this is the condition where prevention might not be better than cure, but prevention could be the only cure. Very interestingly, Ayurveda did also tell about type 1 and type 2 diabetes, exactly how the modern science tells about it. Ayurveda says there are two types of diabetics. One who are born with it, Janmajat. That is the kids who are born with diabetes, and the symptoms are the kid would typically be grossly underweight and would be having a very short lifespan, and no treatment would fit that kid. And whatever treatment Ayurveda tells about diabetes, Ayurveda has very clearly in bold letters told all the treatments suggested are for the maturity onset diabetes, what Ayurveda calls like diet and lifestyle triggered diabetes, that is diabetes type 2. So all the treatments are mentioned for type 2 diabetes. And very interestingly, before 1921, when insulin was discovered, before that, type 1 was invariably fatal. No patient with the type 1 diabetes could survive beyond maybe at the most 20 years of age. So Ayurveda did very well know that there are like something like matching like insulin dependent diabetes or type 1 diabetes and then type 2 diabetes. What treatments did Ayurveda offer? The most important emphasis is laid upon physical activity, and some notions are given what is called a rigorous physical activity. One example was a diabetic patient should be digging a well. One patient should be digging one well. You can imagine digging one well like you are digging like 300 feet single-handedly and bringing water out. You are digging one well, such a huge laborious activity. That is how it mentioned that as much as labor, the diabetic patient should always be mobile. He should never be staying in one village like for one day. That is, one should keep walking. And one notion is given, one should be walking to the tune of 100 yojan. Yojan was a kind of parameter which equates like 10 kilometers. So diabetic patient should be walking 1000 kilometers. So Ayurveda did not tell like should be walking 1000 kilometers in a day or in one lifespan, but the purpose was one should walk a lot. One should walk a lot. One should consume very low calorie diet. This is very clearly told in Ayurveda. So physical activity like goes beyond doubt. Again and again, Ayurveda is advocating the importance of physical labor against diabetes mellitus. Then
Yes.
Ayurveda did tell about all the complications, but Ayurveda did not call them complications. Most of the complications are counted as like symptoms or premonitory symptoms, because Ayurveda did not know maybe at that time that these were the fallout of diabetes. So all the neuropathies, repeated infections, blindness, heart problem, all the complications, because diabetes, the symptoms, as Dr. Rajesh pointed out, the symptoms are not bothersome. You are hungry, you have food at home, you can eat. You are thirsty, you have water at home, you can drink. You like feel like urinating a lot, you have got a toilet, you can visit as many times. These are the symptoms. Weakness, we kind of befool ourselves. Okay, I am like 40, 50, so I'm feeling weak. Weakness also you can afford, because you are not into a competitive sport. You are not competing for Olympics. So then why is diabetic, like why did WHO declare it an epidemic in the year 2000? Because of its complications. That is why it is a silent killer. The complications would be greatly compromising your quality of life. After roadside accidents, diabetes is the leading cause of foot amputation. It is a leading cause of blindness after vitamin A deficiency. So as rightly put by Dr. Rajesh, it is a very strong predisposition to heart attacks, to strokes, and to whatnot. Much more to explore. We are not too late when we'll be coming to know that so many cancers are arising out of diabetes. That is where insulin resistance syndrome or metabolic syndrome or syndrome X as we know it, out of all metabolic disorders, one title given to metabolic syndrome was not a cholesterol like a disorder syndrome or body weight like a derangement syndrome. It is called insulin resistance syndrome. So diabetes is mother of all the complications. It is the leader among metabolic disorders. When it comes to herbs, there are many herbs, and the most important herbs which we all
Maybe Dr. Sharma, maybe I stop you in here for 1 minute, if you don't. Maybe yes, you mentioned about physical activity. Let's try to tackle one by one. Physical activity, especially from WHO, it has been mentioned that we should go ahead with moderate and vigorous exercise, like 30 minutes, 5 days per week, which is very good as well, and it works fine. And one of the importance of physical activity as well is that it prevents sugar from building up in your blood. It lower your blood pressure as well, because your muscles, your muscles are using those sugar for energy. And why it's important as well, because it reduces the risk of developing type 2 diabetes, which is very important. Maybe I'll ask Dr. Shetty now if he wants to comment a little bit on physical activity and why, Dr. Shetty, you think that physical activity especially is very important in terms of diabetes, before we move on to the herbal remedies and food as well. So maybe we'll tackle one by one and give the audience some idea about, what kind of, for example, yoga you can try to advise people to do, what kind of, different kind of exercises are important for diabetes. Maybe we'll focus a little bit on that and maybe prompt our audience towards what they can do. Yes, the floor is yours, Dr.
Good evening, Mauritius. Thank you, Sister Brahma Kumari, sisters. Thank you, Dr. Rajesh Jeevan. Thank you, Ish Sharma. Thank you very much for this opportunity. So, we're talking about diabetes, which is a lifestyle disease. If you ask anyone, it's called a lifestyle disease. So, whose lifestyle? It's our lifestyle. So, until unless we don't change our lifestyle for what we were doing, we got that disease. Now, if you want a new result, you have to change the way of life. What you lived is what you got. You want a new result, you have to do a new thing. So basically, when we started helping people and understanding diabetes, we found out that lifestyle disease has to be changed through this 6 inches. How you come to know the diabetes? Through the blood. So where does a toxins going from? To the food. So what do you have to change? Your food, your breath, your sleep, your thoughts. First thing the doctor will ask, are you stressed? They won't start the medicine for 1 month. They'll say, relax, do some meditation, do some yogic exercise, do some walk, and then check again. And after that, you come. So stress is one of the important aspects. That's why from 2002, stress has increased in everybody's life. You know, competition, unwanted competition, lifestyle, food is changed. People used to eat at home and go out for their toilets. Now people only come home for toilet and eat outside 4 times a day. So life has changed so much. So what we have to do is that what we did is what we got. Now, for a change, you have to change your whole lifestyle. And in that, exercise, meditation, breathing exercise, a good sleep. People don't sleep today. All the development in the last 40 years have only created nuisance in our life. I mean, development is in the name of destruction. I call it destruction. I don't call it development. People used to, in olden times, we used to have just one channel of TV, and by 9 o'clock, everything used to be shut. But today, 24 hours of TV, people don't sleep. People are stressed. People are worrying about tomorrow. So first thing is that you have to combat stress. Now, how to do that? Is that first we have to understand what is stress. Stress is controlling a thing which is not in your control. You have to understand that. You have to ask only one question. Is this in my control? If it is not in your control, just leave it and the stress will go away. Say it's not in my control, accept it. So acceptance is the first key thing that we have to do. And then there are a lot of things that we will discuss further. Exercise also, but I feel that's part of the whole lifestyle. So when I will be discussing the whole lifestyle, I will be informing about the other things. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Maybe Professor Sharma, we are still on the topic of exercises. If you can just tell us a little bit based on your experience, but what kind of, yoga exercise, maybe somebody who has got diabetes, or if somebody is pre-diabetic, what kind of yoga exercises he can practice? Or maybe even if somebody does not have diabetes and wants to take precautionary measures, because I know that usually when we do all those kind of postures, we are trying to, put pressure on the pancreas and so on to be more active. So can you just maybe in 2 minutes, give us some examples about what type of yoga, maybe some common one that people can try to do at home in the morning or in the evening?
Yes, maybe just a little recap as you informed Dr. Jivan. Why does exercise help against diabetes? How does it lower blood sugar? More than 90% of blood glucose is consumed by 3 tissues, 3 types of cells. That is the fat cells. That is where you consume sugar and you become fat. You are not drinking oil or ghee or butter. So eating sugar and you are accumulating fat because your sugar is converted into fat cells by the fat cells. So you generate more fat. That is how adipocytes, the fat cells, convert glucose into fat and store it as a long-term energy. Second, consumption of sugar is by the liver, where it converts through hepatocytes. It's converted into glycogen and stored. And the third, most important, is muscles use your glucose to generate energy, carbon dioxide and water. Glucose breaks into carbon dioxide and water, and we end up having more energy. That is where if you keep burning more of sugar through exercise, which is directly under your control, fat cells and liver cells are not directly under your voluntary control, but muscles are under your direct voluntary control. And leg muscles are the most important. 50% of body's blood is always in the legs. So if you're moving your legs, like what kind of exercise? If I'm sitting, I'm moving my arms, might not be helping that much if my legs are moving. You are skipping, jogging, or playing or walking. If your legs are moving, then you are consuming the most of glucose and your sugar is lowered. Now I come to the point, what did yoga and Ayurveda tell about exercise? Ayurveda has very strongly recommended walking as much as possible, as the WHO also recommended 150 minutes of walk per week, as you rightly told, maybe 30 minutes a day for 5 days. Now that 30 minutes could be, if you're very old, then you could be walking less distance in those 30 minutes. If you are a teenager or you are very strong, then you can do more rigorous activity in those 30 minutes. So time can be standardized. It can be 30 minutes or each, coming from any age. Among the yoga exercises, my personal experience is 2 activities are the most important. One is Surya Namaskar, which is a 12 pose kind of yoga series, where you have to bend, stretch. You are going into push-ups and total stretching. You are touching your feet. You are bending your abdomen. So Surya Namaskar. And the second most important is Kapalabhati. Kapalabhati is where, if you are empty stomach, you are sitting straight and you are undertaking a rigorous exhalation, no inhalation, like you are exhaling. Now with this exhalation, a very important muscle, diaphragm, goes into movement, which normally moves like minimally during respiration. It is a very subtle movement. But when you are undertaking this rigorous breathing called Kapalabhati, then the organs overlying, that is lungs and heart, and the organs underlying, intestines, stomach, liver, and pancreas, all are shaken. And when they are shaken, they dislodge their obstructions, there is more blood supply, and they end up functioning better. So I believe these 2, we could name many, like a halasan, where you press your pancreas directly. There could be many, but keeping it simple and short, like a take-home message would be Kapalabhati and Surya Namaskar. Yes, Dr. Rajesh.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I would like to point out again and possibly add up to what Dr. Shetty said. It's about the stress. Yes, I think it's very important because there has been research, there has been published studies that have demonstrated that a high level of stress hormones, they do interfere with insulin producing cells in the pancreas. And, they reduce the amount of insulin that they make as well. And it has also been reported that, stress is a potential contributor to chronic hyperglycemia. By hyperglycemia, I mean a high amount of blood sugar level. Okay. Maybe now we get a little bit more into the food aspect a little bit. Maybe Dr. Shetty, maybe if you would like to comment a little bit on food as they are and the type of food that we're consuming nowadays. And if you can just summarize to a certain extent, what type of food should we venture into, especially if somebody is diabetic? What kind of precautions we should take, what are the foods that we should avoid, and what are the foods that possibly we should capitalize on and possibly consume more. Yes, Dr. Shetty.
So the first thing I would like to say is that don't have fear about diabetes at all, because fear is also one kind of stress.
Yes, yeah.
I'll tell you, I've got an uncle who is 94-year-old, and he was diabetic when he was 20. And he's still living, doing all his work, doing everything. So basically, it's a number game. When you don't have diabetes, you can still see, you can still think, you can still talk, you can move around, everything is the same. So first thing, remove the fear. God Almighty has made this engineering, and it cannot be wrong. Only thing we have to understand that the lifestyle that this generation has created, that is wrong. So once we change the lifestyle, definitely, it's like, once a bone breaks, what does a doctor do? He gets it back to a balance. And after that, the body heals the crack and the fracture. It's not the medicine, or due respect to doctors, but it is the body. So body can heal everything until unless you are agreeing to change the lifestyle. So the lifestyle is the key thing. So the food, the air that we breathe, the sleep that we do for the body, all these things has to change. Once you understand that, it's like a child who goes to school but doesn't agree or doesn't follow the rules of the school. The child will fail. Why? Because he did not follow anything. But once the child understands why he has failed and why, and he is ready, he is agreeing to change and work hard, why would he fail again? Life is also like that, body is also like that. So, first and the foremost, we have to negate the fear. There is no fear. First thing, be fearless. Why I'm giving my uncle's example, 94, because he's a fearless man. He lived a full life. Everything he did, he took insulin, but he lived. So first thing, don't worry about. Everybody is going to live their life to the fullest without fear. But if you have got fear, there'll be stress. So to combat stress, you have to be fearless. But to say everything is perfect in my life. Second thing about the food you asked me, there are many food. Like today, before I come to food, I'll tell you that body is made of 5 elements: air, water, food, air, water, soil, fire, and ether. So, this gold chain is made of 2 elements, silver and gold. If I have to break and make a new design, I need those 2 elements. There's a wall behind me, which is made of 4 elements: bricks, water, soil, and cement. If I have to break or make a new, I need those 4 elements only. So when we have got these 5 elements, we have got it free. We have got it abundance. Only thing we should be able to connect with it and absorb it. So today, air, water, and food are getting poisonous because the soil is getting poisonous. Today, I don't know about Mauritius, but in India, we are scared about food. We look out for organic food. We are scared about water. We look out for bottled water. At one time when I used to go to school, there was no tap water. There was no bottled water. We used to not take away even the water bottles. There was a tap running in the school. We used to make a hand in a cup and we used to drink water. But today, nobody does that. Today, we are scared of water. We are scared of food. We are scared of air. Today, everybody, rush out of Mumbai city to have some fresh air outside. So at one time, we did not have this fear. Our parents, our grandparents, we never doubted food, air, and water. But today, these things are today, food is getting genetically modified. And our genes are getting genetically modified. Everything nature has created, we are destroying it. So first thing you have to understand that we have to take care of nature. And at one time, in our old vicinity, there was just 2 to 3 doctors. Today, there are specialized doctors for everything, but very less cure. Medical science, due respect to medical science, we need medical science. God has created everything for us, due respect to doctors, but it is only suppression of the illness. It is not cure. 20 years, 30 years, diabetes medicine, but there's no cure. Only the percentage of medicine goes up. So we need a cure. We need a cure because we live the same way, we eat the same way, we sleep the same way, and with one tablet, you want a miracle, which is not possible. You have to change everything. So first thing is that your food should be good and your food should be natural, what nature produces. And, and also it should be chemical free. Today, we are working for that chemical free food. Today, everybody knows organic food is good, but no country is, getting a law for that create organic food. They are promoting, but it's not coming true. But anyway, so food should be natural. Food should be like vegetarian. Basically, nature has created us vegetarian. due respect to all the non-vegetarian ate here, if you see the wild animals who eat non-vegetarian food, they lap the liquid, the water, but all the vegetarian animals will sip the water. Do we lap or do we sip? That's the first sign being vegetarian. The non-vegetarian food is difficult to digest. It takes a longer time to digest, creates a lot of acid in the body. So first thing, whenever you have got diabetes, first thing, stop non-vegetarian food. Stop dead food. Every dead food creates diabetes. The wheat which is genetically modified, stop wheat, stop non-vegetarian food. As far as possible, stop milk. Sugar should not be consumed at all, and very less oil. So these are the 5 food I would say that stop it and stick to natural vegetarian food, which will help you to heal faster and help faster. This is just the basic I'm telling you all. If you'll need any help, you can connect with me and take guidance from me in the future. But if you stop these 5 food, it will help you a lot to reduce your diabetic level in the body. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shetty. Talking about food again, I recall before we used to eat a lot of oatmeal, even our grandfathers and so on. There was no Weetabix at that point in time. Oatmeal, which was quite good, beans and lentils as well, even for breakfast. Those nuts that we used to eat, even fermented vegetables, even I do like it these days, or I'm still consuming it to a large extent very early in the morning. Some people worry about sweet potatoes, but recently I've been buying sweet potatoes.
Don't worry about sweet potatoes. I have helped people with diabetes, sweet potatoes.
Yes.
They consumed a lot of sweet potatoes. So anything that is natural, don't worry.
Natural.
Man-made things, don't
Cassava,
eat them.
yam,
Nature-made things, consume them.
Yeah. Okay. And these vegetables and these fruits and nuts as well, even with oatmeal, they've got a high amount of fiber as well, which is very important to fight diabetes to a certain extent. I'll leave the floor now to Professor Sharma, if you can capitalize a little bit on maybe the food aspect and maybe what type of food possibly, we can try to incorporate a little bit more in our diet so that we can try not to eliminate diabetes. We can't eliminate it, but at least manage it and lead a good lifestyle, even if someone is having diabetes. Yes, Professor Sharma.
Yeah. So food is surely the most important and the most underrated component, as Dr. Shetty highlighted. We take it too much for granted. That food, okay, what is food? Okay, everyone is eating and we are eating. So howsoever we eat it, it doesn't matter. But this is actually the most powerful tool, because this is the practice we are doing like 3-4 times a day since we were born. Every day we are so consistent with food, and we are so much enslaved by food in a way that no way we can think beyond it. And a very small error upon our dietetics, upon eating habits, can culminate into something as big as diabetes or cancer or whatnot. More people are dying of overeating than dying of starvation. So more food is killing most of us. Ayurveda has told very clearly, diabetes being a vata predominant disorder. If some of you know about Ayurveda, we go by vata pitta kapha, what we call tridosha. Diabetes is a vata predominant disorder, and vata type of disorder will be having a very like a short burst of energy or very small appetite. That is where Ayurveda has recommended small frequent meals. So diabetic and modern also supports the same notion. A diabetic should be going for very small frequent meals. One thing, one should never be overeating. As we were discussing, more are dying of overeating. So overeating is the most important blunder we can commit, and some of us commit it every day. And after every meal, some of our friends are telling, or today I overate. Today, you know, I ended up eating too much. The food was so delicious, you know. When I completed my food, then I had a sweet dish and I had to honor that as well. So every day we are overeating. So Ayurveda has very clearly told how much should we eat. 10,000 years back, Ayurveda gave one figure. Ayurveda gave one number that you should only be eating up to 75% of your appetite. You should never be eating 100%. What Ayurveda told, like 50% of your stomach should be filled with solid food, 25% with the liquid food, that is whatever liquid you are taking, and 25% should be left empty. That is, you should be only consuming 75% of your appetite and do not eat if you are not hungry. This is a very, very important principle from Ayurveda and has been exactly the same figure has been re-established by a very prolonged ongoing research called calorie restriction theory, which came to the same figure that consuming 75% of your appetite would be getting you rid of 65% of your cancer and cardiac markers in the human blood. So not to eat when you are not hungry, taking small frequent meals and taking small servings, and very importantly, to eat slowly. We should not eat rapidly. We should not eat very fast. We should take time to chew the food and take time, because the fullness, satisfaction comes via two parameters. One is the food volume, how much do you eat? And second is the duration, for how much time do you eat? If you can trick yourself in the same time length, if you eat lesser food, you will be feeling equally satisfied. That is why a slowed eating, chewing it well, taking pause between two bites, and not to eat when you are not hungry are the like takeaways from Ayurveda. Dr. Jeevan.
Thank you, Professor Sharma. I would like to mention a little bit about, what we can try to incorporate as well a little bit. There has been a number of debates over what type of food, what type of, vegetables, and what type of spices as well we can try to consume more, so that at least we don't overburden our organs with excess sugars. For example, aloe vera. Aloe vera has been shown to be very effective and can try to halt the progress of type 2 diabetes as well. There has been studies done on that, especially in rats, as far as I know. Cinnamon as well. Cinnamon, which is basically a fragrant spice that we use, is basically from those bark of the tree. I think we do use it as well in a number of dishes as well. Even sometimes what I do is I do put it in water and do consume it a little bit. And basically, whenever you consume a little bit of cinnamon, it tends to limit the amount of sugars that you intake. I know a lot of people from Sweden do like to eat a lot of cakes with a lot of cinnamon in it. Thereby, they are reducing the amount of sugars. And I think Dr. Shetty also mentioned that if we are eating our fruits and vegetables, which are natural foods, we don't need even to consume sugars, and especially artificial sugars, which is even very bad for our health. We do have a lemon as well, bitter melon, I guess, which is also very important, and other spices like fenugreek. Okay, fenugreek is something very important if we want to try to lower our blood sugar levels. It contains a lot of fibers as well and other chemicals that tend to slow down the digestion of carbohydrates and sugar. These are basically like all the foods that are related to slow release of sugars. It's very important, especially if somebody is having diabetes. Ginger as well. Maybe ginger has been used, for ages and ages for digestive problems and even for inflammatory problems that we can have in our body. There has been also, again, backup with science that, ginger can lower your blood sugar level as well, to a certain extent. Okay. Any Dr. Shetty, do you want to comment a little bit more on maybe spices and herbs,
Yeah.
possibly that we can, yeah?
Lot of fruits, lot of vegetable juices, green vegetable juices is good for diabetes, and a handful of nuts every day. Avoid grains as much as possible. You can have millets. A lot of millets is good. Millets are, if you find millets, that's a good option instead of grains. And a lot of green leafy vegetables. Green vegetable, whatever nature has produced, it's for us. So don't avoid them. But don't eat dead food. As far as possible, avoid dead food. And one more thing I would like to say is that when you've eaten the wrong food, don't exercise that day. People think that, if we have eaten the wrong food, we should exercise more. No, already the body is working more to digest that food. So that day, sleep more, rest more, and exercise when you eat right. Don't burden the body by exercising when you have eaten wrong food, when you have eaten something which is not good for you, or just for taste you have eaten, for the 2-inch tongue. You have to eat for the whole body. So the day you put kerosene instead of petrol in your car, you have to stop the car and clean it. So same way, your diet should be something that is vegetable, fruits, nuts, sprouts, and seeds. So this is the main food that you should consume. And the day you don't eat these food and you eat other food, rest more that day, sleep more that day. So this is what I would like to add.
Okay, thank you. We carry on a little bit again, maybe on the food items. Dr. Shetty, did you mention that we should avoid green leafy vegetables?
Not avoid. I have a lot of green leafy vegetables, I said.
Okay. So that's very important. Yes, green leafy vegetables are very important. So maybe I got a confusion there. I think these are very important. It will not raise our blood sugar level very quickly. Why not for asparagus, avocados as well? People sometimes are afraid of avocados. These are very
Avocados
good.
are good.
Yes, broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower. And
all green leafy green vegetables. But fruits, don't eat with cooked food. Eat it on an empty stomach.
Okay.
You can have any number of fruits, but on an empty stomach. Don't mix the fruits. This is how I help my patients. Don't mix the fruits and have fruit empty stomach. A lot of fruits is okay, but on empty stomach. Don't have it with cooked food. And if you have eaten cooked food, don't eat your fruits. If you have eaten meat, sugar, milk, all these food, if you have consumed, after that, don't consume fruits, because fruit takes a very little time to digest. And if other food is there in the stomach, it will create acid in the body. It will not digest well. So eat your fruits empty stomach.
Okay, good. So maybe we should take it maybe a while before we go for our lunch or dinner.
Yeah, as soon as you get up in the morning, start with fruits.
Okay, good advice. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Professor Sharma. Okay, yes.
Yes, everything has already been so much clarified by you. Maybe putting it another way, we should take more and more of negative foods. What do we mean by negative foods? The foods which consume more energy than they give. That is, complex carbohydrates are the most important because they engage your body. They consume a lot of calories in getting digested as leafy vegetables and all the fruits and vegetables with the peel. We should not peel them. And if we can wash them well with KMNO4 and all that, if we are sure of that the outer covering does not contain any pesticide or dust, or it is not contaminated, then the peel is the strongest starch or the strongest complex carbohydrate which you take a lot of energy in getting digested. It is the best fiber. So positive foods are those which take lesser energy in getting digested, but they end up giving you a lot of calories. like simple carbohydrates, those are really not good. So like salads and vegetables and fruits which are not too sweet, I believe, as Dr. Shetty put, man-made food versus God-made food. We should go for the God-made food, and the smartness of a human being. The man-made smartness has only deteriorated the quality of life. So we should more depend upon nature and not upon our so-called smartness, Dr. Jeevan.
Thank you. Talking about what you mentioned, Professor Sharma, I would like to maybe ask both of you a very minor question. Recently, there has been a lot of buzz on the internet, especially from Indian people, about noni and neem extract, and people are making a lot of money out of noni juice and so on, and marketing it in Mauritius and trying to explain the benefits of consuming noni juice, and it's not being sold at a cheap price, noni, and people have been mentioning about the neem as well, taking the neem fruit and trying to crush it, and prepare it in such a way that you can consume it. I've tried it a few times. I must tell you the taste is very bad. It's very difficult to eat neem, and even with noni, even up to the extent that I have got a noni plant in my garden, but even the smell of it makes me run away. So do you think noni and neem can be used or effective against diabetes? Because we got a lot of people, they are totally unaware, and if you're like if you got good marketing strategies, you're selling something on noni juice or possibly a neem extract, people are just going to be maybe persuaded and convinced and consume those stuff. But do you think there could be we could be misleading people in terms of those Ayurveda properties of noni and neem?
Actually, maybe before Dr. Shetty responds, maybe I can take opportunity if you permit me. Neem
Yes.
comes from Ayurveda, and neem is a very, very important liver detoxifier. So neem and anything which is bitter, anything which is, the more bitter it is, the more helpful it is for the liver. So the liver being the main metabolic gland, and when your liver health is taken like care of, then directly or indirectly hyperglycemia can be affected. So neem can work against diabetes. Noni does not come from Ayurveda, but noni has been marketed to be a super antioxidant containing a lot of antioxidants. So should be of good value, but surely not coming from Ayurveda. Whatever I've heard, like I'm seeing people selling noni juices for last 20 years. So, and maybe people are like, they are suffering so much that a little marketing gimmick can, trick them in. So is it a commercial approach or does it help? But I believe there have to be both. You cannot sell anything which is just useless for a long time. So noni deserves good respect, and when it makes you run away, then it ensures that you are exercising more, you are running more, Dr. Jeevan.
Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Shetty, please.
Yeah. So as doctor said that neem is good, but I feel food should be tasty. If food is not tasty, life is not celebration. So
neem is
for
a medicine.
Yeah,
Neem is
a
not a
medicine.
food.
Little bit of consumption is okay, but I feel that food should be tasty. Anything that you eat, if you want to do it for a longer time, if taste is not there, people will not continue doing it. And I feel that anything that is not tasty should be consumed very less. But like fruits, like vegetable juices, like nuts, all these things are tasty food. And also try to cook your food, your vegetables without oil. Use a lot of nuts in them. Like peanut or sesame seed. All these, instead of removing the oil and heating it up, once the oil is heated up, it's not good for health. So instead of heating the oil, use the nuts directly in them. And you can make your base, your gravy with that. And see to it that your food is tasty. And you look forward for tasty food. So I I expect from people that they should try to innovate their cooking ways and make their food tasty without using oil, sugar, milk, and the grains. And of course, non-vegetarian should be avoided according to Ayurveda. So these are the food that we should not eat, and you will see the difference by stopping these things in the first few months only. Try to avoid this. Instead of milk, try to have coconut milk. Try to have sesame seed milk. Don't have milk, because today milk is not of good quality. Lot of steroids to the cow to extract more milk. Lot of insecticide, pesticide. All these things are there. So avoid milk as far as possible. And it's very difficult to digest because there's no fiber at all. Oh, once non-veg is okay, according to our Veda, we don't allow milk at all, and we allow only nut milks, almond milk, cashew nut milk, peanut milk, sesame seed milk. All the nutritions are there in this. So basically, highest mucus creating food to the children also. That's why when you give children milk, the only problem they get is mucus, cough and cold. And mothers think that it is nutritious. So they make them drink more and more milk, but milk should be avoided as far as possible.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Shetty. Maybe if we have any comments from the audience, or if the audience want to ask any question, please feel free. We've got a couple of minutes more before we end the session and before we summarize everything. Anybody, or you can just send a message on our chat box if possible. In the meantime, maybe I'll just try to comment on what Dr. Shetty said and possibly on Professor Sharma. I think to a certain extent, based on my opinion, there need to be a balance. It's very difficult for people all of a sudden to change their lifestyle and even changing, their eating habits. I think even if somebody is a non-veg and asking him to be veg, it might take some time, but maybe for the time being, what I will propose people to a certain extent is try to incorporate good eating habits as from now, because it's beneficial for us. Try to reduce the amount of, let's say, fast food we're eating outside. Try to reduce the amount of oily food we are eating. Less salt and less sugar. I'm not saying no sugar at all. It will take time before we come to that level of no sugar at all, because we are used, for example, with our tea, a little bit of sugar. Let's say if we are using 2 spoons, maybe we get it down to 1 spoon. And after 3 months, it'll be 1/4 of a spoon. And then by the time, your taste buds get used to all these aspects, you will say, oh, I don't need sugar now. And some kind of control as well, because if you're eating rice, if you're eating, let's say, potatoes, if you're eating chips and so on, if you're eating carbohydrates, you're already getting your calories from there, and your body will be using those stuff. So there's no need, to take extra amount of sugars in your drinks or whatever. We forgot to mention something about drinks as well. The best drink basically is water. So again, cutting down on, excess, sugar sweetened beverages and so on. That would be very helpful as well. Okay, get rid of those carbonated drinks from time to time. Again, I think our audience should bear in mind. I know we've adopted a different lifestyle these days. We go and eat a biryani, we need our Pepsi. We are eating fried noodles, we need our Coke or whatever. But I think it's high time that we realize that, even eating too much of fried noodles and, with oily stuff and with a lot of salt, it's good for the taste bud, but 5 years, 10 years down the line, we're going to suffer. Okay. So it's far better that we start to put a full stop from time to time. And Dr. Shetty, very important message that you gave us today is about fear and the mental health as well. I've always told people that the way that we think, the mind can be used as a weapon, and the mind can be used to cure a lot of diseases as well. If we want to lose weight, we've got to say yes. You know, I've got to put a full stop towards these kind of food. If I want to exercise, yes, let me go and exercise. I won't say that, okay, no, I'll leave it for tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes, for heaven's sake. If we want to make changes, we start adopting changes as from now. We don't wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow never comes. I think we do have.
There's a question in chat.
Yeah. Yes, Dr. Shetty, can we make vegan milk at home from someone?
Yes.
Maybe can we try soya milk? Maybe you may, before you embark on that. Maybe soya milk.
Milk. Soya is little acidic, but almond milk, sesame seed milk, coconut milk, all these milk are vegan.
Yeah.
Soya should be consumed less.
Many people are saying that, you know, especially in China, selling a lot of soya bean milk. I've been drinking that as well because it's, well, I don't know, but it's biologically speaking, scientifically speaking, it has got flavors, you know, terpenoids that can be used to reduce the risk of breast cancer among women. And also during pregnancy, a lot of Chinese people, women drink at least half liter or 1 liter of soya bean milk almost every day, especially those which are enriched with calcium. So what's your opinion?
As per our, we try to avoid it. So with due respect to all the Chinese people and all the other people who are drinking, I would suggest the other 4 nut milk like peanut, cashew, almond, sesame seed. All these milk is more helpful for my patients, so I'm telling you about that.
Okay. We've got questions popping in. Excess of alternative sugar or white sugar or honey are considered harmful to health. But other natural sweeteners can we use? I think honey.
Yes.
I think honey is okay, isn't it?
Dates, even jaggery is not that bad if you consume in little quantity. Jaggery made of sugarcane juice.
Yeah.
But don't use the ones which have been which is given a soda wash. The yellow or the white jaggery. The black jaggery is good. You know, in our villages, I don't know about Mauritius, but over here, we get black jaggery. So those kind of jaggeries can be used. You can use date paste to make your food sweet. And, you know, if you consume a lot of fruits, your sweet requirement will reduce slowly.
Yes, I totally agree with you. What about honey? Professor Sharma, honey? I think honey is something natural, isn't it? So we should not be having a lot of
honey is natural, but it contains sucrose, which is a disaccharide, and it can end up increasing your blood sugar level. So honey should not be taken, or can be taken like honey water can be taken in moderation. Ayurveda believes how can honey help against diabetes is honey is heating in potency. That is like every food has got two bipolar qualities. It can be hot or it can be cold in its potency. So honey being of heating potency, this can lower some sugar, but containing sucrose, I believe honey should better be avoided.
Okay, because usually people do favor use of honey during winter, especially whenever we have the cold season.
Yes, because it's heating property.
Okay.
Rajesh, can I say something?
There's so many food that nature has given us. Why, you know, honey is for the bees. So leave it to the bees. Plenty of food for us.
That tallies with what you said about the milk. Leave it to the cows.
Yeah, leave it to the cow. It's for the calf. So basically, as far as possible, eat nature-given food.
Okay.
Nature has created every season. There is new vegetable, new fruits every season. So why don't we stick to the food that is for us?
Okay. Okay. I think someone wanted to comment a little bit. Is that Vishal Jagia?
Yes, I'm Vishal Jagia. I'm from Rotary Club of Rosebell,
Yeah.
member of Rotary Club of Rosebell. In connection with soya bean, my mom is a vegetable planter, farmer. When I was doing my SC school certificate, I was a student of agricultural science, and I made a project on soya bean. The soya bean, what we consume is bagas, but the soya bean, we can have it in Mauritius. We do have it, and if you contact the Ministry of Agriculture, you can get the grains, the seeds to plant. If someone need it, you can contact me. I will just canalize you to the person you need, because soya bean, we can get it. The soya bean, it's very good, very rich, and it's like we say in Mauritius, peas, or you can plant it like that. It's same like Mr. Rajesh, like gros. It's the same size and white. It's very nice. We have planted several times in my yard, and it's very nice.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Jagia, for your suggestion. We have one question from the audience. Hello, if someone have diabetes and doctors advise to take medicine, should we take it, or we can control it by exercise? Because there was a lot of side effect on the medicine. Yes, usually most of the medicine that we do take have side effect. Even I don't know whether you've heard about metformin, which have been used on a wide scale, but it has been pulled back this year. It has been pulled back from the market because of its carcinogenic properties and so on. So people are avoiding taking that. But can we really, we can't get rid of diabetes basically as it is. I think Professor Sharma and Dr. Shetty will agree with me. It's something there now. We've got to live with it. But we can try to reduce the other associated problems associated with diabetes per se. We can try to limit damage to other organs. We can try to limit going maybe for dialysis and having, a renal failure after a couple of years having diabetes and so on, by trying to adopt good lifestyle. And we've discussed before about why exercise is important. Doing exercise will not get rid of the diabetes. Eating good food even will not get rid of the diabetes. It's already, like, for example, if you have a genetic problem, it's there. But as Dr. Shetty said, that there was somebody, above 90 years of age with diabetes, right from 24 years of age, I guess, and still living maybe a healthy life. I know, again, people in Germany, I know even people in Mauritius in here, having diabetes at the age of 75, they don't have major complications. They don't have CVD now. Having diabetes, but no CVD, no major amputation of legs, no problems with, with the kidneys as well. It's just like trying to integrate what we've talked today. Balanced diet, avoiding foods that should not be consumed, that can have a large negative impact on other organs, getting rid of sweet beverages, reducing the amount of oil, adopting a healthy eating habits, like eating more of fruits and vegetable. And as Dr. Shetty said, why not? Nature has opened up everything else for us. Why are we going for artificial food when we have a lot of natural food that are beneficial for our body? A last few words again, maybe from anybody. From yes, yes. The floor is yours. We can't
You
hear
can
you.
unmute.
You're muted.
Yes, okay. Thank you. What is the position with dahi? Yogurt.
Okay. Yeah, yogurt, Ayurveda has very clearly told a diabetic patient should not take dahi, should not take yogurt. So should not be
But
taken.
even Dr. Professor Sharma, even unsweetened yogurt, because I know
Yeah,
unsweetened yogurt is okay.
yes. Yogurt should not be taken, but in one form this can be taken. If you add a lot of water to yogurt and you convert it to buttermilk, then that is
Yeah.
miraculous. That will be helping you a lot. But taking the dense, thick yogurt is not advisable.
But then we are going into contradiction with what Dr. Shetty mentioned. We should avoid, those kind of milk products or whatever.
Yeah, when milk is not allowed, where will the curd come from?
No. There is see, Ayurveda is very clear. Milk is different from milk products. So milk is a no in diabetes. Dahi or yogurt is no in diabetes. But this buttermilk, because the properties are altogether different. Milk is cooling and heavy, and on the other hand, buttermilk is heating and light. So whatever is heating in potency and light in quality will help against diabetes. Heavy and cold would not help against diabetes. They would increase your blood sugar level. This is the Ayurveda viewpoint. So I believe milk should not be taken, and thick, dense yogurt should not be taken, but buttermilk can be taken.
Okay.
Okay,
What
thank
about the use of ghee? Dr. Shetty, the use of ghee in food. It's very common practice in India.
What?
A
Which
little
one?
bit, maybe ghee.
Ghee. Yeah,
Ghee.
little bit ghee can be taken. Yeah,
Little
ghee
bit.
is, ghee being like, this is,
A spoon a day.
this ghee is ideal. This being like this can stand very high degree temperature cooking. So ghee is one of the best among all the cooking media. It is better than refined oils and many more like cooking media. Cow ghee is, but surely should be taken in moderation.
Okay. Let me check if we have any. Can a reduction of salt in our diet cause a rise in blood glucose level? So can a
No.
reduction of salt in our diet cause a rise in blood glucose level?
Dr. Jivan, you are the best person to answer this.
I don't think so. It will not cause a rise. It's very
It will not
unlikely.
cause a rise. Yeah.
I
See,
think there's-
these are
Sharma.
three white poisons we have got in our food: sugar, salt, and milk. We should not take them if possible at all. We don't require them. We don't require a pinch of salt or a pinch of sugar. That is what the man-made salt and man-made sugar. Natural salt and natural sugars are available in plenty, whatever the body requires. The man-made, like this so-called intelligent decision to make this white salt or make this white sugar, we don't require. The benefit is only as Dr. Shetty told, for like a few inches of your tongue. Beyond that, it's all damage.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Shetty. We are reaching maybe nearly 9 o'clock now. Thank you for coming on our platform today. It was lovely.
Pleasure.
It was indeed a privilege for us to see you for the first time on this platform. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, and our love to your Mumbai colleagues in there. Thank you, Professor Sharma, for those delightful insights you gave us today about those food, about physical activity, and those discussion. Thank you, everybody, for participating. I think it has been indeed a wonderful experience. if we keep on talking, I think we'll keep on talking until 10 or 11, but we've got the time constraint. But we've learned a lot today. The knowledge that we've gained was very pertinent to diabetes. We've discussed about what we can do, for example, exercises, yoga, what type of food we should avoid, what type of food we should eat. Thank you, everybody, for attending. And I leave the floor now to Sister Rekha.
Maybe
Yes,
last question, if I can answer.
Yes, Professor
There is a question in the chat box. Is buttermilk heating or cooling in property? So buttermilk is heating in property. It is not cold. It is heating in property. Okay, yeah, please, we should conclude.
Okay.
Otherwise, as you rightly told, Dr. Jivan, we'll
Yes,
keep
yes,
on.
yes. So
we'll keep
just
on and
coming
on.
back to that, Professor Sharma, usually, so we should eat or consume it more when it's heating property. We should consume it more in winter. And then maybe for those stuff that are cooling property, we should try to consume them more in summer, right?
Yeah, such changes can be made. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Sister Rekha, the floor is yours.
Yes. So thank you, all of you, Dr. Jivan and Dr. Shetty and Professor Sharma. Thank you for this very, very informative and very constructive discussion. All your sharing, I'm sure, have given a lot of insight for those who care for their health. And I believe that somewhere we all need that thing called discipline in our life. We are well informed. We know what we need to eat and what we do not need to eat. Information's already there. But the big gap is what we are informed about and what we are doing to our body and our health. And I feel that this is where spirituality comes into play. The more we are spiritually awakened, enlightened, and disciplined, then only can we, adopt that integrative approach. We all know we have to somewhere in our life. So let us finish today's session with a few minutes of meditation. And I request Vaishnavi to play a short video that is going to guide us into how we can use meditation to heal our bodies.
Every day, it's important to send the body pure vibrations of light. Whether we're sick or whether we're healthy, the body needs that support. So take a few moments now to prepare for that. Allow yourself to drift away from the world of form and sounds and matter and sights, and travel deeper and deeper into a space of pure light, of a golden stillness inside yourself. Take a few deep breaths. And with each breath, let yourself drift more and more deeply into that quiet, restful, serene center. That place of pure energy and light. And allow yourself to be innocent, as if nothing has ever happened to you. Let yourself be in that pure, original space of golden silence. Allow yourself to feel completely rested, letting that energy pour into every cell as your body relaxes so deeply. It's as if you're on the edge of a sweet sleep, but yet alert. Imagine now that you are resting on a beautiful hilltop, up near the clouds where it's silent and still. And feel the earth below you, and allow any stresses or tension to pour into the earth below you. In this moment, you release whatever you don't need. And the earth takes that and absorbs that. And you begin to relax. As you notice something above you. Above you is that beautiful golden light of the divine. Warm, healing rays of light. This is the purest, highest energy. And allow yourself in this moment to connect to God's energy. Letting it pour through every cell, washing away the memories of this world that you don't need anymore. Cleaning every cell so that your whole body is brimming with this light. And as this light pours into you, you begin to feel weightless. You begin to feel buoyant. You feel this light clear all the debris of painful memories or situations from your cells. And all you can feel is that pure golden energy of God's light. Healing the body. Releasing everything that you no longer need. And in this moment, all you feel is that pure, beautiful light shining onto your body and your being. And it's as if this light is making you new, birthing a new you that is free from all memories of the past, free from all worries. This light is restoring your divinity. And as it washes through you, you feel more and more weightless. You feel an exuberance filling your cells, a joy. Just allow yourself to absorb this light in this moment. And acknowledge now how much your body needs this light.
Thank you for joining us in this short meditation. So it's time to say merci beaucoup. Thank you very much to Dr. Rajesh, who has been very helpful in organizing the event, Dr. Shetty from Mumbai, and Professor Ish Sharma. Thank you to the Rotary Club who has joined us in this event and has been very helpful. And we also thank all our audience, all our participants on Zoom, equally those on YouTube. And merci beaucoup, thank you very much equally to our technical team. We hope that this interactive session has been helpful to you. And together we can think about what are the changes we need in our lifestyle to bring about a more healthy community so that we all live healthily, peacefully, and happily. So with this, thank you very much and hope to see you soon on our Night Sky program. So wish you a very pleasant night and wish you all the best. Om Shanti.